Hi, it is Tootie Tagerly coming to you from San Francisco close to noon on a Tuesday. And this may be the last live I do this year. Actually, it will be the last live I do this year because I'm doing a workshop next Tuesday at this time. So I wanted to talk about celebrating your 2021. And there's a ton of things that go into this. And the reason why I want to talk about celebration is for many of us, many people who are driven or high achievers, or for any of us who think that it's important to look forward, many of us will focus on what we need to change, what we've been doing wrong, and really, I want to invite you to focus on what's going right. In Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap, he talks about this upper limit problem where many of us feel that, hey, there's only a certain thermostat or level, upper limit of happiness and fulfillment and success that we might let ourselves have. And then when we start bumping up against it, I don't know, we get scared, we turn inward, we do something to self sabotage ourselves. So, another example is if any of you have ever gotten a excuse me, a performance review. Often you get the document, it might be a PDF, it might be a paper doc. How many of you flip through the first, second, third pages, all the things that say, hey, you are doing great at this, your skills are this, you've learned these many new skills, and you just flip because you want to get to that little piece of paper, that little piece of feedback that's like, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? How do I improve? So, one huge part of celebrating your 2021 is say, hey, let's look back at the year. It has not been an easy year for anyone, I would say. Let's look back at the year and think about what is it that we want to celebrate? How do we strengthen these neural networks in our brain to focus on what is going right? Because the more we think back at them, the more that we savor them, even the things that have been not so great, the more that we look back at these unpleasant events and say, all right, well, could have been different, but there's a gift in there. That is how we celebrate our 2021 and set us up right for 2022. So, some tips in here. First of all, really focus on what's going right. But second, avoid the recency bias. Look at the entirety of your year. And I'm going to do a little bit of show and tell, and it's not completely relevant for the year, but I think it's helpful. One of the things that I want to celebrate the most from this year is that I ran a retreat, an in-person retreat called the Heroine's Journey with one of my best friends, who's also a leadership coach. And I love working with my friends. So I hired a former client and friend, a former coworker. We worked together at my very, very first job out of college. And she ran an art workshop in our heroine's journey. And similar to the theme of it, which was looking back at what's happened over your life, see where you are right now, and then looking forward, we did an art project where she had us map out essentially our leadership in our life. And as part of show and tell, this is mine, and it goes from childhood to maybe some more recent stuff with work, a work vortex, and then has like a big future area here that says, here be dragons. So when we celebrate our 2021, many of us will look back and be like, all right, here's what happened last month and the month before, and these are the things that I can remember. And many of us will have a recency bias and we don't know even what happened in January, February, March. So when you celebrate your year, when you celebrate what's gone really well for you or what you've learned, break up the year into quarters. Think about Q1, January, February, March, Q2, Q3, Q4, and use that to jog your memory of what awesome, amazing things happened there. All right. A second way to really think about, hey, what and how do I want to celebrate is to use a framework that I use in a lot of my teachings. And the framework goes like this. It's what I call the North Star framework of leadership. It's basically I'm in the middle. Leadership starts with me because I am really the person who is best suited to change myself and the things around me. Well, in concept, far easier to change yourself than to change all the people around you, much as you wish that they would change. So leadership starts with me in the middle. And then if you look at the framework, the areas that you have impact on are the projects, the work you do, the people you spend time with, and then the community that you're in. And I have my printer is out of ink for this beautiful show and tell, but it gives you a little bit of a sense of me in the middle with projects, people, and community. Um, and why this matters is when you're thinking about celebrating your 2021, some of us might be like, oh God, I can't remember. I can't remember what's happened. But a handy tool is to look around and say, all right, what has been some of the stuff that's most celebratory about me? What am I proudest of things that I've done? And then you can move around the framework and be like, all right, what about projects? What about projects or processes? What pieces of work that I've done that I'm really proud of? So for me, my intention going into 2021, and this was a vision board, my intention was to really focus on white space. You know, have a little bit of a playful, joyful little bunny rabbit side of me. Think of things as gifts. Have a lot of heart. Have a lot of lightness, and really balance out my very naturally driven go-getter high achiever. So when I had this notion of white space as an anchor for the entire year, if I look back at it now, I'm like, "Oh, what did I do? Hey, something has shifted. I have more space in my calendar. I have more spaciousness in my life." I remember in January when I was looking around at what was going on, part of me said, "Hey, you know what? One of the things I wanna do is I wanna surf twice a week." And that seemed impossible to me just because I was talking to a lot of clients. The best surf is in the morning, but yet there's only a certain amount of overlap times with Europe where some of my clients are. And I remember that seemed like an impossible goal. Like, how on earth would I ever clear my schedule enough to surf twice a week? And now, kind of effortlessly, I'm surfing probably 2, 3 times a week. You know, there's weeks where it doesn't happen. And of course, I'll slow down with snow season because I want to snowboard. But I had the spaciousness to say, all right, this is what I want more of in my life when I run my own business. And some days I'll look down and be like, all right, my Mondays and Fridays I have blocked off and I can have the spaciousness to create, to work on projects, to write. And so that to me was the me. On the project side, if I celebrate my 2021, I launched a book. Ooh, this is show and tell time. So and again, on the theme of white space with Make Space to Lead, super proud that I spent a huge part of my year writing, creating, promoting, launching, and kind of celebrating the book that came out on November 2nd. So that's one of the major projects. But I also have a lot of different projects and experiments that I ran for work that I'm very excited about as well. For people, I think some of the most important people in my life are my two daughters. Lots to celebrate about them changing, about them going back to in person school. Um, I think in terms of people, there's also my partner. I celebrate that our relationship got so much deeper this year because we had a lot more intentional dialogues and talks about what we wanted and how we wanted to shape our lives together. And then in terms of running my own business, one of the things I also want to celebrate is that, similar to what I said earlier, I typically run workshops with people. One-on-one coaching I'll do alone, but group coaching and workshops, I like having a partner to banter through, to create together. And I've had two partners through this year. One is Irene, who I ran that Heroine's Journey workshop with that map that I can no longer find, with this map. And the second is Jim Herman. You know, he's another leadership coach, and we have together created a lot of this North Star framework. And I've learned how to chill out and be more spontaneous in running groups together with Jim. And those are two really big things to celebrate. And then finally, in terms of community, I spent a lot of time, really a lot of effort growing and building my community network of coaches, of other designer turned entrepreneurs, and then also the community of people that I serve. Yeah, I do some help for an organization called Women Talk Design, and then I've also spent a lot of some pro bono time talking to women in salary negotiations because I want women to get their worth, to be able to hold their own in negotiations, which can be a really scary time. And for me, all of those are tendrils that I've put out into my community. Wow, that was a longer point than I expected. But the last point around celebrating your 2021 is that I can be a really planned person. I sat out and did this exercise about a year ago to be what is this 2021? And then guess what? A bunch of stuff happened that was not planned for. Actually, I had no idea that I was going to run an in-person retreat this year. This was an unexpected that happened when Irene and I shared an experience of paddleboarding on the ocean and seeing a beautiful glamping place at Mendocino Grove. And we sat there and we thought, what if we could bring a group of women to this? What if we could share this adventure and outdoors as a way to stimulate their journey of being a heroine? And that to me was being open to be like, oh wow, that's something that we want to follow and do. And when I look back, not planned, unexpected at all, completely unexpected, but that was a highlight to celebrate from 2021. So, yeah, I think that celebrating your 2021 is a very, very beautiful thing indeed, and um it's something that I hope you will do. You will take the time to kind of go back and look at your year because so many of us don't do this. So many of us focus on what's going wrong, not what's going right. And if you want further support on it, I and Jim Herman am teaching. I'm teaching a workshop. Let me actually see if I can make this appear. We're teaching a workshop which is about celebrating your 2021 and setting your intentions for 2022 with this North Star workshop. And we are also doing a free webinar in about a week, a free class, webinar, whatever you want to call it, in about a week. But I do not seem to have the link for that. I will post it with this if people are interested. Oh no, I do have the link for it. So either way, if you are interested, um, reach out or sign up for the free session, which I will attempt to add onto the end of this. There it is. Sign up for a free session that we're running to celebrate your 2021 in a week. It is on yes, next Tuesday in a week. Come hang out with that. And even if none of this stuff matters, isn't it kind of fun to think back and be like, hey, what was awesome about 2021? All right, that's it for now. Chat soon. Chat probably next year, unless I do some random lives. And have a wonderful month. Have a wonderful rest of your 2021. All right, bye for now.